can see after the game, Caitlin Clark and Sophie are both running up to the referee here. They are both so upset, and the referee is just walking away from them. He won't even look at them in the face. He keeps turning. Like, Sophie even went up at one point and is like tapping on his arm. He would not even.
With a sold-out crowd, playoff excitement, and Caitlin Clark playing the reigning champions, the Indiana Fever enjoyed their biggest game yet. Instead of being a WNBA highlight reel, it became a referee show. Caitlin Clark was compromised. A phantom foul was committed against Lexi Hall. The referees also gave the impression that they were eager to give the victory to New York. Not only were fans perplexed, they were incensed. Stephanie White, the coach, expressed her frustration. She also didn't hold back Caitlin. There was more than one horrible night. The issue is a trend. Additionally, it is harming the league's reputation. It has now progressed much farther. The WNBA recently suspended Commissioner Cathy Engelbert in a startling decision. Yes, according to internal investigations, the Commissioner disregarded the rising pressure from players, coaches, and fans and refused to address the growing number of officiating complaints. This is the first time such an event has occurred in league history. And to be honest, nobody is shocked anymore. This is when it becomes even more bizarre. According to rumors, several league officials and owners have been subtly pressuring her to go for weeks, particularly when prominent athletes like Caitlin Clark and their coaches began openly expressing their displeasure. Some claim that poor referees weren't the only factor in this. Cathy was made the scapegoat to preserve the league's reputation. Stay tuned as we dissect every missed call, every insane situation, and the reasons the WNBA must address this issue before losing the supporters they just won. Let's begin.
They've done a great job of rigging this. They've done a great job of rigging this league. The league, they're not even being subtle. They're not even being subtle. Oh my God, this is embarrassing.
Let's not mince words. Individuals are accusing this league of being rigged, and they're not being subtle either. Something didn't seem right from the first time the Indiana Fever were on the floor. It wasn't your normal home match. It resembled a playoff match. In Indianapolis, the crowd was erupting. There were no stars, unrivaled energy. The referees seemed to be there to sabotage, even if the Fever was there to fight. Without warning, Caitlin Clark was hacked from head to toe. Playing immaculate defense, Lexi Hall was called for a foul that never happened.
The fact that this referee wouldn't even acknowledge the players was kind of crazy to me. Like, when I saw that, I said, this is really strange, because the referee should have enough confidence in the calls that they made to at least discuss. You should be able to at least discuss.
The Liberty, meanwhile, were residing at the free throw line, and this is starting to happen more often than not. So, if you were seeing this live, did you think it was fair? Last night wasn't the beginning of this. Physicality increased as soon as Caitlin Clark joined the league. She was being bumped, held, and even blindsided off the ball by players. And the referees are quiet. Do you recall Kennedy Carter's off-ball strike? That was hazardous in addition to being filthy. The officials also ruled it a common foul. Not a technicality, not a flagrant, simply another play. It's not just Clark either. Whistle after whistle has been blown on the whole Fever squad.
I can't believe what I'm about to say. The Indiana Fever, with the strongest, loudest, most intimidating home court advantage in all the WNBA, just got robbed at home. I saw it with my own two eyes live on CB.
Do you want the figures? You go now. This season, the Fever's free throw difference is now -31. It's not a typo. It's a crisis. Let's return to the Liberty game now. This contest has it all. Aaliyah Boston threads a pass from Caitlin Clark. Highlight plays, significant momentum swings, and defensive intensity are all provided by Lexi Hall. It had every element needed to become an immediate classic. What did we receive instead, though? Refer to the drama. 32 free throw attempts were made by the Liberty. The Fever are just 15. In a tight game, it is more than double. It's more than simply a statistic. The result is determined by a swing. Furthermore, number wasn't the only factor. The call's quality was the problem. New York's soft touch fouls, body checks against the Fever are not being called for. Two distinct sets of rules. They were pushing Caitlin Clark out of her place and blatantly mauled on the last possession. Not a single whistle for different fouls. Can you see LeBron or Steph experiencing that during a crucial playoff game?
that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow that to consume us, right? Like, we've got to be able to play through that. We've got to be able to control the things that we can control. I felt like at times our late game execution was good, and I consider most of the latter half of the fourth quarter, because it was a tight ball game.
This leads us to Stephanie White, the coach. She wasn't shy after the game. She made a strong impression at the news conference held after the game. A disparity of -31 free throws. We're also going for the rim. It has been astounding how disrespectful they have been. That is an annoyance. Fury is what it is. And for weeks, it has been building. The warning from Stephanie White wasn't limited to the referees. She did it for her teammates. She assured them that she had their back. We'll not overlook it. And to be honest, that kind of leadership is important, particularly for a young squad that is still figuring things out. Let's now discuss Caitlin. Although she didn't lash out at the referees, her body language was quite clear. Her eyes were filled with amazement, her voice was filled with irritation, and her tone was one of tiredness. Aaliyah Boston chose the traditional no-comment approach. That stillness, however, says a lot when you've been watching the game. This is when things start to get very crazy. Commissioner Kathy Angelbert has allegedly been suspended by the WNBA. Yes, you heard correctly. The top boss has left. Why? Because she disregarded months' worth of complaints on the officiating, according to internal records. Fans were fed up, coaches were incensed, and players were angry. That's not all, however. There are rumors that some of the owners have been quietly trying to get her to leave. And it was game over when celebrities like Caitlin Clark began making public speeches. According to others, Kathy was used as a scapegoat. Some people think it was long overdue. In any case, is the most significant reorganization the WNBA has seen in a long time. This is the offer. The league is at a turning point. At last, the WNBA is seen. There is a rise in attendance. TV viewership is increasing. Millions of new people have discovered the game because of Caitlin Clark alone. But you know what? Fans are seeing missed calls and biased officiating officials who don't even seem to be attempting to disguise their partiality. Fans are also not stupid. They are familiar with basketball. The appearance of a foul. Additionally, if the product seems rigged, they won't stay.
It's another year and another case of WNBA referees dropping the ball, not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlin.
The WNBA had a fantastic chance to turn casual fans into diehards, but they're alienating individuals with each missed call. I want to know whether you would continue to watch a league that doesn't defend its players. The league has to take things seriously now. Fixing the officiating isn't the only goal here. The goal is to preserve the game's integrity, about ensuring that each participant has an equal opportunity, regardless of how well-known they are. Because this is the reality. The league won't have another opportunity like this if Caitlin Clark's fan base leaves. The Fever has fulfilled their obligation. Their players are engaged in combat. Their coach is raising his voice. The supporters are displaying their enthusiasm. It is now time for the league to react. What really transpired with Kathy Angelbert, then? After seeing the video of the Wild Liberty vs. Fever game, the league first claimed she made the audacious decision to suspend the referees. The official stance was about accountability and upholding the league's integrity. They said so in public. However, reality becomes messier and far more fascinating as you peel back the layers. Top WNBA officials reportedly urged Angelbert to step down in private the same evening, according to several league sources. The worst part is still to come. It was more than a single poor night or a few wasted opportunities. For months, the pressure had been increasing. Why? The main cause is the rumors of partiality, particularly with regard to the New York Liberty. And it's not just conspiracy theories from fans. The league itself is the source of this. Let's go back to the WNBA Finals from last year. The Liberty defeated the Minnesota Lynx in a hotly fought series. However, the aftermath of the game is still the topic of conversation. Wearing a dress in the colors of the Liberty squad, Kathy Angelbert is on the court. "Wait, what?" said fans watching from home. It went viral when she was shown grinning and presenting the prize in blue and black. She seemed to be a member of the squad, according to others. And that reputation suffered greatly when the Liberty won thanks to contentious late-game rulings. Was it only a matter of style? Perhaps. However, it seemed to be validation for supporters who already believed the league had a soft spot for New York's best club. Doubt was sown by the trophy presentation moment. And ever since then, every dubious decision made in the Liberty's favor has simply served to strengthen that suspicion. The last straw was this most recent game versus Indiana. The utterly unbalanced free throw figures and the missed calls. It was all too obvious, too familiar. They were obviously trying to save face when the league banned the referees, but not before supporters went crazy on social media. According to sources, executives and owners of WNBA teams have already expressed their worries in private. The stakes were just too high, especially with Caitlin Clark now involved and bringing millions of new viewers to the league. They had a message to deliver. Angelbert thus turned into that message. The warning story, the scapegoat. The commissioner was ejected after what began as a decision to suspend referees. All because the league at last recognized that basketball is no longer the only thing at stake. It's about justice, trust, and appearances. Additionally, the WNBA couldn't afford to have another controversy under her leadership in 2025, when the whole sports world was watching. Let's be honest, had Caitlin Clark not been in the league, would this reorganization have taken place? Most likely not. Caitlin is doing more than simply altering the rules. She is transforming the league's operations. Millions of additional admirers, TV agreements, crowded venues, and very high expectations have all resulted from her appearance. Every missed call is thus a hot subject. And it wasn't simply a horrible night at the Liberty Fever game. It was a humiliating moment for the whole country. What, then, did the league take? They pressed the panic button, hushed the critics, suspended the referees, and subtly, and maybe grudgingly, advised their commissioner to resign. Because Caitlin Clark supporters will leave if they believe that this league is unsafe or unfair. Along with them comes the greatest momentum boost the WNBA has ever seen. The issue now is, did the WNBA make the correct decision, or do they just expose its true flaws? What do you think, then? Is there more going on here, or are the referees really this awful? Leave a comment below with your opinions. Tell me whether you believe the WNBA needs a whole revamp of officiating, or if it's a case of growing pains in the early going. And because you are precisely that, if you have read this far, please leave a remark. I appreciate you watching, and I assure you that there is much more to come. I'll see you at the next one.